Click, load, listen on the Horn.
OnTheHorn.com.
Well, we might have an introduction here soon. I don't know. It's coming along soon. I can feel it.
You're listening to On the Horn, and we're going to be dealing with wine talk and food. Tonight, it's beer night. Chris Didden is going to be leading us, but we are brought to you by Gateway Financial Group, Sandus Travel, Sherpa Technologies, Budwitz and Meyer Jack CPAs, Deepwater Seafood of Avon, and CentralCTDental.com. Now, Chris, over to you.
Oh, that was my introduction. I love introductions like that. Yahoo! All right, we got just a couple knobs here, but all right. So tonight is going to be an experience for me. Okay, I'm a wine guy. I am a vodka guy. I'm a gin guy, but I'm not a beer guy. Okay, beer usually gets me bloated, fat, and ugly. Not that I'm fat and ugly otherwise, but it's
you
one
notice
of,
it more.
Yeah, well, we know. Well, I got to tell you, my wife posted pictures of me on Facebook the other day, and
oh, you look very nice.
well, thank you. But those,
now
you know,
can I comment?
Now you can comment.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, you look very nice dressed up. I saw those pictures.
Yeah, but oh my God, I had no hair. I was fat, and I was wearing pink. Well, pink's my favorite color.
Okay.
I love
It
pink.
takes a man to wear pink.
There's only certain guys that can rock pink.
Oh, and I was rocking pink in a huge way, as I should say. Yeah, but I got to tell you, I'm on a ton of steroids for my asthma, so my asthma is kicking in big time right now.
Ooh.
Actually, my doctor was telling me I should go to the hospital yesterday, but we're going to hold that off for as long as we possibly can. So tonight is going to be light beer night. Is it going to be Miller beer? Is it going to be, Budweiser? I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be beer night. But we got a couple people with us tonight. Our guest host, our special guest host, over here to my left is Brian, bartender extraordinaire from the Black Eyed Sallies. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you very much.
He rocks every single night here that we do this, and he rocks every single night at Black Eyed Sallies.
Oh, try to.
And if you haven't gone to Black Eyed Sallies yet, go into Black Eyed Sallies, because I got to tell you, it is one of the most casual, calm, cool, and I will emphasize. Okay, can I say that word? Emphasize. There we go. Cool places that you want to hang out and have some good time.
They got great grub, great booze, and the people are
yeah.
phenomenal.
Oh, the bands are incredible.
Yep.
And then we got Elliot over here. Oh, no, Elliot, you're not next yet. I'm sorry. We got
him first?
No. We're gonna hit Dave up there. Dave, producer. Dave is producer extraordinaire. I got to tell you, Dave. Without you, this does not happen. We really, really appreciate you being here.
It would happen. It just wouldn't be pretty.
It's fun.
Because, guys, when we're out here on our show, we enjoy what we're doing. We have a good time, and that's what it's all about. It's we try to educate. We try to give you some good insight on what we're doing, on what booze to drink and what booze not to drink. And Dave, without you, we can't do that. So we appreciate your efforts over there.
By the way, Tasha says, "Hola, people."
Hola, Tasha. We can't talk to you this week because I might have gotten a little trouble when I got home last night. Actually, I didn't. But, it was one of those things. Tasha, we're still going to set you up with a guy. Don't worry about that.
We promise.
Okay, on to my right, we have Elliot Thomas from Sonoma Fine Wines. Sonoma Fine Wines.
However you say it, I don't care.
Yeah.
As long as your crit check doesn't bounce.
They're right in Plaza 35, right across from Whole Foods. If you want to find any kind of booze that you can name that's quality and want somebody to show you something or want somebody to explain a beer, a booze, whatever, talk to Elliot. He's a rock star in that. And then we have the mystery guest.
The doppelganger.
Last week, I got to tell you, we were at the show, and we finished the show, and Jennifer said, and Jennifer was on earlier. Oh, I'm getting texts already.
Oh.
Jennifer was earlier on last week, and she said, when are you going to do white wine? And I said, okay, we'll do it this week, and we'll do it next week. I couldn't figure it out. And so I talked to Brian, I talked to Elliot, and they said, hey, let's do craft beer.
Suddenly, white wine became craft beer.
So what is craft beer? We're going to figure out what craft beer is tonight.
Well, as much as you refer to me as a wine and booze guy, I am a bit of a beer geek. And
What makes you a beer geek?
I want to know as much as I can. And
Sometimes too
So
much.
Yeah.
the mystery guest is
Well,
talking about. We haven't introduced him yet. But
one of the reasons that I am a beer geek, and one of the reasons I needed him with me going against you tonight.
well, let's keep him as him because we don't want to introduce
You
him.
don't want to
yet.
tell him his name yet?
Let's keep him
Well,
him.
he is the guy that got me started into the craft beer world. I appreciated good beer, but he handed me a beer.
So did you like
What?
I
was always a little-
Genesee Ale and
I was always a little off the beaten path. My dad's a Coors Light guy, but I grew up in Yingling country. So,
Yingling,
you know,
which is not available in Connecticut, by the way.
it will be soon,
Hopefully.
From who?
hopefully. The brewery just bought another brewery up in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Word on the street is they'll supply the New England states either by the end of this year or into the summer next year.
Yeah, that's probably my good friend Jim Stack talking.
No.
However,
I didn't
I've
hear
been
that from
hearing
Jim.
that. I've been hearing for the last 3 years that they were going to
Yeah.
be coming into Connecticut, and
We haven't
we'll
heard
see.
any.
However,
yeah.
the brewery would help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely. So they brew all over the place, but
15 states from
Okay.
New York to Florida.
why can't they just brew in one state and ship it out?
Not capacity.
Okay.
It would just take too much space and too much time and too much collateral.
Are you saying
You
they're
think
poor?
Budweiser has one
I
brewery?
think what are you telling me they're poor? I mean, tell me what are we talking about?
Well,
here?
they are craft beer. By definition, craft beer must be privately owned and small production. And like I was starting to say, I brought ammunition tonight. I brought a guy that knows more about craft beer than I maybe
You mean
will ever
him?
know.
Him?
Doubtful.
This is my friend Mike Lynch.
Oh, you introduced him.
Introduced him. He's official now.
Oh my God! Hey, everybody, say hello to Mike Lynch. Okay.
Hi, guys.
All right. So if you want to call in and talk about craft beer, and I guess this is not Miller Lite or this is not Budweiser. So if you want to call in, we got the hotline going, 860-264-4343. Again, that's 860-264-4343. Give us a call. Tasha, you may call in if you drink beer, but apparently you don't drink beer.
Oh, no, she drinks very good beer.
Oh, she drinks very good
Oh,
beer.
yeah.
Well, she's still pole dancing for you?
Oh, Lord.
Just checking.
We're 4 minutes into the show.
Technically 9, but who's counting?
Okay, so Tasha, okay, I'm sorry, Tasha, on that one. Okay, hey, Brian Parker, can you get our chat room up and running, please? We're looking at the board here, and there's no board going on here. We need,
By the way, Tasha just said, "Oh dear God."
oh, dear God, on what? The pole or the beer?
Both.
Probably. I'll go with both.
Okay, Tasha, you gotta be succinct in what you're telling us here. 'Cause
Survey
I have
says.
no clue. But Brian Parker, please turn on our machine so we can see what's going on in the chat room. We would appreciate that.
We actually, newsflash,
Oh, newsflash.
we'll be having another machine coming in. We expect actually this week. The one thing that is going to prove the old French adage, be careful what you pray for, you may get it. Once the machines are on,
Yeah.
it's going to be summertime. They generate heat.
Oh
A
my
lot
God, it's
of
like
heat.
900 degrees in here already. You know, do we need more? Nah, but actually, it's very cool in here tonight, so life is good. But seriously, folks, we're going to try some beer tonight. We're going to let you know what it tastes like. We got a great panel here. We're going to try and figure this out, whether it's good, bad, ugly. And you know you're going to get the truth here. There's no BS going
That's
on
the
here.
idea.
Whatever.
That is the idea.
So, Mike, give me your background. Your name is Mike or Tom?
Actually, Mike.
So we'll call you Tom?
Yeah, that
All
works.
right, life is good.
No,
Okay,
no,
Tom.
no. I have a good friend, Tom.
He's
but
wearing
no.
a Yankee hat, so we can't.
I like him.
I can't take him seriously. He's wearing a Yankee hat.
I like him.
It's always split, every room. Doesn't matter which it is. There's always one of each, right?
Well, you should show your baldness. You should be happy about your baldness.
I'm growing into it.
Okay, because that's important.
It's getting
Because
there.
you got the goat here.
That's
Oh,
right.
we got a Red Sox thing over there, so
There you
that's a good. So we got a split room. But we need, baldness is good.
right.
I've got my yarmulke up here.
That's right.
I'm saying my bald. Well, look at Elliot. Oh my God.
I embrace it.
You're
Artificial
done.
baldness.
Yeah, I have
You
zero.
know, and
It
you
holds
don't
it on
want
in the
to.
summertime, right? You know, just
And you don't want to show us your head?
Oh, not. I'm representing, man. You know, I got my family from New York. You know, gotta
Oh
show
my
it up.
God. Okay, Tom, tell us what you got.
Well, my name is Mike, but yeah, I am the owner and brewer, along with my partner, of the new and upcoming small microbrewery called Lost Elm Brewing
What is
Company.
small?
Small is small. You know what a microbrewery is?
No,
I'm
tell me.
assuming.
Okay.
Okay,
I got to
Call
tell
me
you.
uninitiated.
Here's what's going to happen.
let's back it up.
Okay, we are okay. Yeah, thank you. That's a good. I'm like the garbage truck going backwards. In. Okay, I have no clue about handcrafted beer. Okay, I've got an idea that handcrafted beers are what I see when I go to Manchester Fine or Discount Liquors. They've got an aisle full of hundreds of beers that are 22 ounces, 12 ounces, whatever.
Of labels you've never seen before.
The labels I have no clue about. I don't understand them. I don't know what I'm drinking.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I don't know the difference between an IPA and a PPA and a DPA and a PP.
Well, that's unfortunate. But, I mean, we'll do what we can to help you out tonight. But
Okay. Please do.
So many comments, so little time.
Yeah, that's right. I know. We've got a short interval here. But
So tell me about yourself.
so
How old are you?
I am all of 29 years old. So
And when did you start drinking beer?
a little early.
6.
What's a little early?
8 years ago.
Not very good at math. But, I've been into craft beer pretty much as soon as I could legally have it, and been brewing beer for the last 6 years.
Okay, you got to again. I'm going to go do the beep beep thing.
All right, let's back it up. Breweries, big ones, right?
No.
Budweiser, Coors,
Tell
Miller.
me. No, forget that. Forget Miller. Tell me what got you into brewing beer?
College. Absolutely.
Because you drank a crap load of beer
That's what college
and you
is for.
said, "This is no good."
No, for the love of God, don't tell my son.
He knows.
He knows. Well, all our college
He already knows.
So you said this is no good.
It was absolutely true. I mean, we went to tons of keggers, we actually went
Where'd you go to college?
University of Connecticut. And
Drunken capital of stores.
it is. It's a good time. A good time. But it's just something that, when we started to have beers on our own outside of the frat parties,
Yep.
we tended to kind of try to get things that weren't the 30 racks and the Miller Lights and all that kind of stuff. Mostly because we thought we looked older when we were actually purchasing it in the stores, so they wouldn't question us.
Yep.
So if we got craft beer, all of a sudden we looked like we knew what we were doing, and we were a little bit older. And it turned out that it was the best thing we could have done because we got exposed to so much different beer by doing that and by trying to, experiment and
Was
see
it
the
more
weird stuff.
expensive?
It was more expensive.
How could you afford it? You're in college.
I don't know. We didn't
Priorities.
Didn't
Dear
I think he was on the
Dad.
corner prostituting himself.
That's
What do
my
you
guess.
think? Okay.
ramen.
No.
Okay.
Lots
Dear
and lots of ramen.
Dad, I have a great investment idea.
Okay, so the prostitution on the corner doesn't work because you
Dear
don't have
Dad,
the body
that,
type. Okay.
that still applies.
That's why it's a microbrewery.
That's right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there.
Not at all. But I mean,
If you keep setting yourself up, though, this is going to be a fun
it's
show.
going to be a long night. Yeah, it is. But yeah, no, we started getting into a lot of small stuff, small craft breweries, just trying things that were different. I mean, we just kind of wanted to see what was new, interesting, different, other than what everyone else was just slugging down by the kegful. And then we ended up kind of asking the question,
Were you nerds?
yes.
Okay.
God, still are. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Your
just
geek
checking.
applies. We'll get into it.
Okay.
But yeah, we absolutely started to ask, why is this good? Why do we like it better than the other stuff? And we started to try to figure out, can we make this ourselves and can we do it for cheaper? It turned out
that makes sense.
we kind of could, but what ended up happening was we got totally
Did you make
hooked on
beer
it.
in the dorm?
We did not make beer in the dorm. No.
Okay.
They barely allow hot plates. But we
Yeah, but
ended
that
up
didn't stop me in college.
No. We ended up just kind of trying to experiment, really, just trying to see what different flavors we could get. We kind of were, enamored by the whole idea of this whole emerging craft beer, scene. It's kind of, it was kind of hip for, younger people to be kind of into the
You
more
were trying
like,
for girls.
yeah,
you were a geek.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
okay.
Well, there's the requisite, Mike's Hard Lemonade that comes into the dorm room, and then you have your beer. But, it's kind of that whole genre of just kind of going to something that isn't Bud Light, and because it's boring, and we wanted to see what was new. I mean, so we started brewing our own, and decided that it's something we love. We absolutely think it's something that a lot of other people enjoy too. I mean, your friends tell you it's good, but sometimes we want to see what the rest of the world thinks. And when we started to put together Lost Elm, we went out and did some tastings.
Okay, hang on a second. Lost Elm. That's
Lost
the name
Elm.
of your company, right?
Lost Elm Brewing Company. Yep, in scenic Woodstock, Connecticut.
Okay, Lost Elm Lost Elm Beer Company out of Woodstock, Connecticut.
Yep, brewing company, LostElmBrewingCompany.com.
And you brew out of Woodstock?
We will be, absolutely.
Okay, so you brew out of Woodstock, and where do you sell?
We'll be selling mostly to Connecticut only. That's our focus. We're not going to be going outside of the Connecticut market, really.
So you want to stay small and kind of figure your
Absolutely.
niche.
Absolutely. I mean, there's lots of larger craft breweries out there. Sierra Nevada is a good example. They're nationwide.
Yep.
But we feel like, we want to be a little bit more focused on the handcrafted quality of the brews. So we wanted to really be able to make sure we could kind of control that, which means having a smaller brewery and a smaller market. Myself and my brewing partner and co-owner, Adam Golka.
Okay. Adam, big shouts out to you.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you're listening. If you're not listening, screw you.
I told him to.
If you're not listening, where are you?
Well, he's not talking on the chat room, so we don't know who he is.
Now,
But so the two of us together have decided that we really want to kind of, bring a more focus and a more quality-driven product to Connecticut, and we just want to share our love of this amazing stuff.
So hang on a second. So you went out, you rented space, you put a couple tanks in.
Yep.
You said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a beer. Life is going to be great.
Several different kinds.
Okay, so several different kinds. You have a bottling machine or...
Right here. Two hands.
Two hands. So you're the actual guy that comes down and fills up, you overfills, and you cap it?
I am the brewer. I'm the owner. I'm the janitor. I'm the accountant. I'm the guy who
You should
drives
get
the
to know
truck.
me. I do this for wine.
This is kind of like this is our idea, is that we're going to basically be just two guys in a brewery, obviously with a lot of friends and a lot of volunteers. If anybody's out there who wants to help bottle.
Well, hey, no, hey, guys.
I was going to ask, are you going to bottle, or are you just going to do growlers for
We'll be doing growlers, bottles, sales over the counter. We'll have a bar at our brewery. We're actually going to be doing kegs to different accounts, some small bars and some small restaurants.
Hey,
When
guys,
do you look to go?
As soon as
Is it
possible,
going?
but there's a lot of stuff in between. So we're kind of doing a lot of paperwork right now, but we've got our space, we've got our building, we've got some of the tanks that we're going to need to use to actually to make the beer, and hopefully as soon as the federal government decides to
grant you their
grant
permits.
us our permitting, as well as the state of Connecticut and the local zoning board of Woodstock. Hi guys.
Don't get quieter when you say things like that.
Hey, but
what
seriously,
my client really meant to say was,
hey guys, but seriously, if you're out there and if you're looking for some experience in the beer business, call. Are you guys online?
We absolutely are. LostElmBrewingCompany.com.
LostElmBrewingCompany.com. They're looking for volunteers to help out and learn and
Absolutely.
learn the beer business. This might be a great way for you guys to get it, or your amateur brewers to learn about the business and also learn about what it takes to actually brew a beer. So give them a call and they can come out. They'll accept volunteers happily.
Absolutely.
Unless you screw up their product, and then they'll fire you immediately.
Absolutely.
All right.
Now,
So go ahead.
if I don't interrupt here, last week you kept everybody moving along. I've got a bag full of beer that we need to
get
start
it.
drinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can talk about Mike in between.
Because Mike's got a good story here.
He's
so,
got a great story. That's why I hang out with him as many times as I can.
Or is his name Tom?
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out yet. I haven't figured that out yet. But he's wearing a Yankee hat, so while he's wearing the Yankee hat, he's Tom, guys. When he's not wearing the Yankee hat, he's Mike.
I've known him for almost 3 years now. I've never seen him without a hat on.
I don't think my mother's seen
That's
me
because
without a
he's
hat on.
bald. And he doesn't want to show his baldness, but that's okay. I embrace my baldness. Okay. So what are we drinking here?
Well, Mike and I and Brian have been talking about you for the past week because you have said, I don't know how many times, that you're not a beer guy.
I am not a beer guy.
So we tried to pick a bag full of beer that didn't taste like beer.
Okay.
So we're going to start light. We're going to work our way up.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the first example.
Okay.
We will find something you like tonight. I have no doubt in it.
Well, I got to tell you, okay, because I drank my fair share of beer in college. But I got to tell you, beer gets me bloated, gets me fat like the chicks.
Well, there's a difference between drinking 17 Miller Lights and 2 really good beers.
Yeah, but I've gotten older now. I'm 50 years old, so I tend to sip now.
That's perfect.
So I
We've
tend
got
to
some
sip my
sipping beers.
stuff.
That's the right way to do it anyway.
And I try to figure out what's in it, and I taste. I look for flavor profiles and stuff
You
like that.
have no idea.
That's what I was gonna say. Is
How-
you're gonna enjoy this part of the beer drinking, because the stuff that you're used to, or the stuff that you drank in college, this isn't gonna taste anything like that stuff.
Well, I'm excited.
You have no idea how much the world of craft beer is much like the world of wine that you're used to.
Almost
Okay.
in lockstep.
Yep.
They really are. They're almost in lockstep at this point, because
So-
there's so many different. There's going to be so many different characters and flavors and things that just like jump out at you, and not just on the first sip. Sometimes it's on the second sip. Sometimes taste changes. IPAs. I love IPAs when they're like room
What is an
temperature.
IPA? Stop.
India Pale
What is an IPA?
Oh Jesus!
India
This is
Pale
a whole nother
This is gonna be a
episode.
style
We'll-
show.
Yeah.
Well, this is stage one in the education of Chris Didden on beer.
Indian Pale Ale.
Indian Pale Ale. So what makes it an Indian Pale Ale?
It's the type of hop that was required to send the beer from England to India when it was a colony.
Okay.
Basically.
So originally they were
Originally.
brewing pale ale.
Right.
You think an
So-
awful example, but think Bass pale
yeah.
ale. The beers would spoil before they made it all the way to where they were going,
Okay.
Asia and India, on the spice route.
Yep.
So if they found out if they hopped it more, they gave it more bitterness and more hoppiness, that the beer would last longer. So they called it an India Pale Ale because they could make it all the way to India.
Okay, so when I look for an IPA, and people tell me all the time, Chris, grab an IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's a beer, but it's a little more hoppier than other beers.
It's one specific type of beer. Yeah. That's all.
There's
Okay,
over-
so that's all it is. Again, I'm hearing PPA, IPA, PPP, all that stuff.
There's definitely a lot of styles. I mean, the Brewers Association is says there's over 80 different recognized styles of beer. So there's a lot of places to go with it. I mean, there's different types of IPAs as well, but I mean,
Oh, back off for a
There's-
second.
there's-
Okay, no,
Oh,
stop for a second. When I go to a counter and I say, "Give me an IPA," when I go to Elliot and I say, "Give me an IPA,"
That's like walking into my store and saying, "Give me a
bottle of
Merlot."
wine. Yeah, exactly.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So there's dozens of different IPAs.
I have 15 beer lines and have 5 different types of IPAs on. One of them is a double IPA.
I think
yeah.
Mike and I could sit
What
here
the
and
heck
probably
is a double IPA?
really
Really bitter.
alcoholic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Really
more
hoppy.
booze in it.
Yeah.
Double the alcohol, double the hops, pretty much.
Yep.
Fair.
So whenever I go in, I should ask for a double IPA.
No, you shouldn't.
You should.
Okay.
It would
Actually, let's
Not
find
right
out.
out of the
All right, let's
chute.
try this one.
it would
This
not
is a
make you
white-
hoppy.
The white
This is not
UFO.
an IPA.
So UFO stands for Unfiltered Offering. It's a small brewery up in Massachusetts and Vermont. It's Harpoon.
Lemony? I'm getting a lemon
Yeah.
flavor here.
Absolutely. I picked this because it's something I love to hand to people when they come in and they say they like Blue Moon or Shock Top. Those are mass-produced versions of this style.
Yeah, but I usually have, somebody introduced me to Blue Moon and they put an orange in it.
Don't
Yeah.
fruit the beer.
Yeah.
Don't fruit beer.
Don't fruit the beer.
Okay, you idiots out there, do not fruit the beer.
Good beer doesn't
beer
need
doesn't
fruit.
need fruit.
Doesn't.
Good
It's
beer.
gonna have enough flavor on its own. It doesn't need an additional flavor.
Okay, so you should never add fruit to a beer.
I certainly don't.
Tasha says
Good
Harpoon
beer.
is an excellent brewery, by the way. Just
I dig
throwing
it.
it out.
But she didn't answer the question whether she's still pole dancing for Elliot.
No, she was too busy rubbing her hands together as far as the beer tasting was
Oh, okay,
concerned.
okay. But this is nice and light, and
It should be light. It should be a
It's-
little
it-
citrusy.
citrusy.
The label has the little orange on there because they do add a little orange flavoring, I believe.
Orange peel. Yep.
but
Some-
it disappears.
Yeah, it's very light.
I
So
mean, this
That's
is
a good summer brew then.
I
This would
think
be a good-
absolutely.
But the problem with this, though, I mean, it doesn't leave me wanting more.
Okay. We got 8
That's
beers
valid.
in the bag. We're gonna start.
I'm just trying to figure. Hey, I'm trying to.
This is the palate cleansing Moscato or
This is like the
Pinot
sorbet
Grigio.
of
This
the
is
world.
the sorbet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so I can do sorbet of the world. Okay,
But-
and you started out with a sorbet.
Well, we start out light and we work our way up from there. By the
Okay.
end of this night, the biggest beer in the bag is going to knock you on
I'm
your
hearing double
butt.
Bach or something like that because I've heard double Bach in my future.
Tasha says baby steps, baby steps.
baby steps.
I thought it was baby twirls.
No.
No.
She
Well-
also added, I'm just wondering where that crazy train jumped off the tracks last week.
Tell her it was all Elliot's fault.
It was Margarita Madness. That's all we can say.
Okay, now this I'm looking at. I got to tell you, it's a little darker, a little more golden, and it kind of's got some, I don't know whether it's sediment or it's kind of sitting there, and it's got something to it.
It's
Mike,
dirty.
Tom, tell us what it is all about. I haven't figured out whether I'm calling him Tom or Mike yet.
We'll both tell you. It is supposed to have a little.
He's a
sediment.
split personality. He's Sybil, guys. Okay.
It's definitely supposed to have a little sediment. It's actually supposed to have a little yeast residual in there.
You can taste
Now,
so-
yeast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you
So
taste it.
it's that kind of style. It's I believe a Belgian white ale.
Yep.
So you're supposed to have a little residual yeast in it.
So I'm getting a bitter smell on it.
You can get a little bit of that. Yep, sure.
You could
And,
say
and
it
I'm
was
getting
a-
what am I getting on my tongue?
That's the yeast.
Okay,
That's
so
the
I'm
taste
getting
of the
I'm getting a
yeast
little
you
bit of a, not quite bitter, but something on my tongue.
Funky. A little funky.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
funky on the tongue.
You could
We'll
say it
say
was an
Something you're not
infectious
used-
taste.
Something you're not used to. That's
Something
what it is. You're not used to it, and that's yeast.
Where the
That's
first
yeast?
one was a sort of a sweet style Chardonnay, this is more of a Burgundy style Chardonnay.
Okay.
You know, it's dry, it's flavorful.
Hmm.
This is actually Clown Shoes Clementine White. These guys are brewed right up in Massachusetts. I believe at the Mercury Brewing Company,
I believe so.
off the top of my head.
But this isn't drying out at the back of my throat. This is saying, okay,
Have another.
not quite have another yet, but it's close.
It's a little fuller. I think there's a little bit more body to this one. There's a little bit more actual yeast character to it, which actually this style of beer is kind of yeast derived. I mean, as many styles of beer as there are, there's that many different types of strains of yeast that can be used.
Are you a chemist?
No.
Okay,
Not
just trying to
officially,
figure
but
this out.
Becoming one.
Okay.
Fast becoming one, yeah.
Well, no, because I'm looking at this, and the first beer was very light and very airy and so forth, and it kind of felt like a soft drink. Now this one's getting, I'd almost want to put ice in this. I hate to say that, but I'd almost want to put ice in it.
Okay.
Just to kind of chill it a little more. Maybe it's not chilled enough for me right now.
We'd have to get those whiskey rocks.
Whiskey,
No ice.
Whiskey Stones.
Whiskey stones.
But this has got a little bit of it's got more flavor, but it's a little more bitter. I think it gives a little more of a. I'm tasting something like lemon lime, or I'm not sure.
You'll definitely get some citrus from it, absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
it's the clementine, but I mean that's kind of part of this whole style. Is they'll actually add things like orange peel to the
I'm
actual
gonna say
beer.
this is definitely more zest or peel,
Absolutely.
or even like the inside white of the orange, because there's something else there.
Well, there's bitterness, absolutely.
Yeah.
So they definitely up the hops on this one. I think hops are definitely something that's not usually used in this white style of ale. It's usually much more pulled back, much more easy drinking, a lot more like the UFO. But this is a little bit more robust. I mean, this is a little bit more, I think.
What does this go for
crafty.
a 6-pack?
Comes in 4 packs for $11 or $12 a 4-pack.
And what was the UFO?
The UFO is probably $10 a 6-pack.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, by no means expensive, but not.
I guess we got to pay some bills.
We got to pay some bills.
Dave's going to pay some bills, and we'll be right back. By the way, if you want to reach us, 860-264-4343. Do not be scared. Call us in if you're a beer drinker.
We are brought to you by Deepwater Seafood. Have you been to the only fish market in the Farmington Valley? Deepwater Seafood on Route 44 is open 6 days a week, featuring 3, count them 3, fresh fish deliveries daily. It also has a menu of grilled fish items, scampi, fish and chips for your catering needs, authentic paella, cedar plank salmon sides, and always the traditional New England clam chowder. And last but not least, the very best jumbo shrimp cocktail that you will find anywhere, and I can attest to that. It's one of the best. They're open Mondays through Fridays, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturdays 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call in your order at 860-676-9657, and they'll have your order ready for pickup pretty much when you arrive. Deepwater Seafood of Avon. Check them out.
Click, load, listen on the horn.
On thehorn.com.
Budwitz and Meyerjack PC is a large Connecticut-based CPA firm with offices in Cheshire and Farmington, Connecticut. Large enough to handle engagements of enterprises with annual revenues in excess of $100 million, yet small enough to cater to smaller businesses and individual clients who expect personalized attention from partners and staff. Client service is the cornerstone of our practice. Our clients have a fixed fee for their audit and tax work. What this means to the client is we're approachable. Personal communication and client services make for strong relationships. Budwitz and Meyerjack, certified public accountants.
Sandits Travel for business and leisure. We'll take you there. Sandits Travel has been proudly serving Connecticut since 1960. That's over 50 years. And we're ready for another 50 years of superior service. Whether you prefer to come in, call in, or log on, we invite you to explore how efficient, diverse, and fun it is to book through Sandits Travel. Save your money and your time with us. Sandits Travel. We'll take you there.
And we are also brought to you by CentralCTDental.com. Doctors Camp, Sambor, and Lupini for serious issues or routine checkups. Go nowhere else. Easy to get to on the Plainville-Farmington line, or call 860-747-5761, or make an appointment online at CentralCTDental.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're back to the fun.
Are we live?
We are live.
Yahoo! Okay, we're live. I got to tell you, we got a couple things going on here. First of all, we're going to introduce. We have Brian over here, bartender extraordinaire from Black Eyed Sally's. We've got Elliot over here, Sonoma Wines. We've got Tom over there from Lost Elm, and we got Dave over there. So we're trying some beers tonight so far, and so far we've had a UFO unfiltered wheat beer. That was the first one, guys, and that was kind of light and didn't do a whole heck of a lot for me. Then we had Clown Shoes Clementine White Ale. It was a little better. It had a little more things going on, but it was almost too citrusy for me. I mean, I'm thinking beer, not drinking lemonade.
Well, like I said, when I tried to pick out beer tonight, we specifically talked about bringing beers that didn't taste like beer.
Well, that's what I heard.
Because you said you didn't like beer.
I don't like beer. I really don't like beer. I'm not a beer guy.
I don't have a beer that tastes like Budweiser in the bag.
Well, but I got to tell you, I'm not a Bud drinker.
We need to define beer for you then.
Okay.
Oh, actually, you brought up earlier, what defines craft beer?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Who better to define craft beer than Tom, the Lost Elm guy?
Oh, no, you get in on it now. Jeez.
Well, okay, he's being civil tonight. By the way, guys, his name is Tom, Mike. We don't know yet. So we're going to call him one or the other. It really doesn't matter throughout the show. But all you got to remember is Lost Elm, Brewery. Great guys down in Woodstock, Connecticut. They're about to get going here, and you got to take care of them when they come out because, I haven't tasted their beer yet. But if Elliot brought them in, that means that they've got decent beer. So I'm not making any preconceptions, but I would imagine they've got decent beer. But before I go there,
what defines a craft beer?
What defines a craft beer? Because I got to tell you, I don't drink Budweiser, and in my house, I have a backyard and I've got an open house in my house. And so people come into my house. I get 4, 6, 8, 10 people a night, every single night coming into my house. And, they drink me out of house and home all the time. So I have a house beer every year. 3 years ago, it was Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Very popular among the hipsters, yep.
Yep, it was just one of those things. What I try to do is pick out beers that I can buy in bulk that people will freak out on. They'll go, "Ooh, I can't drink that." And then all of a sudden they drink it and they go, "Oh, that's not bad."
That's what we're trying to do here tonight with you.
Yeah, well, I don't drink beer, so.
Wow. Right.
But seems to be a common refrain.
But the other year we had Narragansett when they just popped back up.
Yep.
And then we had Schlitz.
Oh.
All these beers people thought were crappy beer, and I got to tell you, when I was in California and I was living on onion sandwiches, I drank beer. The Falstaff.
The black and whites?
The black and whites that just had beer on them. And it was $3.50 for a case. And then we went to Mickey Big Mouth's when we wanted to splurge. So, that's how poor I was back in California in my days in California. So, we're drinking beers tonight. They're trying to convince me that beer is good. We got Tom over here from Lost Elm City. But let me ask you, Lost Elm, I mean, that's New Haven area.
Well, yeah, it used to be all Connecticut. That was the thing. I mean, there was elm trees all over the place. I mean, and then they kind of all died off. There was a huge blight at around, the beginning of the 1900s. And, we were kind of thinking about that, and we were saying, well, that's kind of very similar to, Prohibition. Like, Prohibition came around and killed off pretty much, like, all of the small local
made everybody an
craft breweries.
Illegal.
Well, yeah, they had to do
I mean, the
what they had
president
to
of the United
do.
States was having beer trucked into him and bourbon trucked into him.
Absolutely.
So
But,
he
all
was a
those little
lawbreaker.
guys were just, they
Made
were
Al
killed off.
Capone a very rich man.
So,
Yes, he did.
Yes, absolutely. So we're trying to bring back that idea of, like, the little guy, the small local brewer, something that's like, kind of back in the day, bringing back that idea of a pre-prohibition brewery.
Okay, now I know there's a vodka guy out there, it's called Elm City Vodka.
Okay.
So they're very close to you guys in the Lost Elm City, but he's doing it in New Haven.
Yep.
But I applaud you guys, down in Woodstock. I mean, because that's a land of the lost.
It's a lot of trees.
There's a lot of trees. There's a lot of cows. There's a lot of preppies. You got Brian Dennehy out there.
Yeah, is he out there? No,
Yeah, Brian
I haven't
Dennehy's
seen him
out there.
around
You
lately.
got Big Bird out there.
Big Bird is actually right down the street from us.
Yeah, Big Bird takes his helicopter
I'm
in New
not
York
kidding
City.
at all.
No, Big Bird takes his helicopter out to New York City all the time.
Oh, we saw him flying overhead.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, somebody was was that a helicopter?
Yes.
Holy crap, that was a helicopter, Big Bird. All right, what am I going to drink now?
This might be the weirdest beer of the night. This is something that, after all the sauternes you've brought me, I thought I had to bring this. This is Dogfish Head Noble Rot. This is a beer that they did with grape must as well as botrytis grapes from Washington State. Mike and I both admitted neither of us have had this tonight.
That's very interesting.
Before
beer.
tonight.
Curious. Yeah.
That's the first one that you perked up about? You're like, that's interesting.
This is very interesting beer.
It involved grapes. Come on.
No. Without the grapes, I got to tell you, without the grapes, this has got something to it. It's still citrusy though.
Sure.
It's why are beers turning citrusy? Somebody tell me that.
Because we're starting light and we're gonna get bigger.
Okay.
Don't worry.
So the light beers are the handcrafted light beers are citrusy?
Well, lighter in body, meaning easy to drink, summertime type beers, the kind of beer that you can drink a few of. Some people refer to some of these lighter beers as session beers, but
what is a session beer?
A session beer is meant to be a beer that you could sit down and drink several of over the course of a session.
My eyes lit up.
Yeah. Well, the problem, and I shouldn't say the problem, but the trend has become in craft beer, a lot of them are 6 to 7 to 8 to 10% alcohol, and some that go above and beyond that.
It's almost like wines and booze.
Exactly.
Close, yeah.
I can think of at least 3 Dogfish Head beers that are over 15% alcohol.
Can I see the bottle, please?
Absolutely. It's fairly full, so.
Okay, so we're
Don't pour it
talking
on my new
we're
iPad.
talking a Dogfish Head Noble Rot.
Now, Dogfish Head's got a lot of publicity because they've been doing a lot of weird stuff out of Delaware. People will come in and buy their beers regardless of whether or not they're any good. But I've been dying to try this, and I figured who better to try it out on than a guy who loves botrytis grapes.
I love botrytis, but I'm not detecting the botrytis grape in this. I got to tell you, I'm detecting again, that citrusy flavor. But it's interesting though because it's got a weird finish to it.
It's got a little bit of that funk, which I think is probably due to that botrytis.
And it leaves a sediment at the bottom of the glass.
There's a question in the chat room.
Yeah.
Apparently, Tasha's been going off on some moonshine.
Junior Johnson Midnight Moon Strawberry Moonshine. Do you stock it at Sonoma?
Why?
That's the question.
Why?
That's the question.
That was the question.
Okay, so my question to you, Tasha, is why?
I believe my wife is more interested in it. Tasha is drinking it right now. Oh, she says because it's delicious.
I have had a couple people mention it, but no sales rep has shown it to me, so I haven't had a chance to taste it. Until I taste it, I'm not stocking it.
Tasha, if you want to come over right now and show us your wine, we'll drink it and we'll give it to you. We'll check it out, okay?
Give us a shine, baby.
But other than that, babe, we can't do it. All right, so that, I got to tell you, okay, so we've had the UFO White, the Clown Shoes Clementine, and the Dogfish Noble Rot. Okay, none of them have floated my boat yet. I got to tell you that.
That
right
last
now.
one did nothing for me.
So none of the last one was more interesting than the first one. The second one to me gave me a little bit more of a oomph or a.
Break it up, boys.
Okay, Tom and Elliot are discussing what we're going next.
They're conspiring.
It's also very strange because I actually have a very, very good friend, Tom, who actually helps us with the brewery. He's a very good brewer as well. So shout out, Tom.
It's the real Tom.
Hey, Tom, you can come on over anytime. You're probably a better guest than Mike. You know, and
and they'll call you Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, of course we will. No, it's all about, you know. Oh, this is getting serious now because we're drinking something dark. Now, do I like dark beer?
The color.
I'm
Stop
getting
it.
scared.
Stop it.
Color prejudice. It comes out.
I'm getting scared. Now, I'm not racist.
No. Color prejudice. It's different.
Okay, I got. Okay, my daughter's half black, half white. My son's half Hispanic, half black. Okay, color does not mean anything to me. But okay, so I poured this. It's cloudy on the bottom, or Elliot poured it. It's cloudy on the bottom. It tried to give a head. No comment. Wow, nobody came back with anything on that one.
I think we all just
Oh,
bit our
wow,
tongue.
that was cold.
My tongue hurts.
That was cold. Tasha, you didn't even come with anything on that one. It tried to give me something there when you poured it. When people tell me to drink a dark beer, they usually say you gotta have this much of a head and this much beer and let it settle. So
That only counts with Guinness.
So Guinness is the only beer that happens to, or
It's not that it's the only one that happens to. It's unless you pour Guinness right, it tastes bad.
Yes.
really?
Yes.
Yeah,
How do you pour Guinness?
with the way you just said. I don't know. It
How
all
do I
tastes
just-
bad to me.
Okay, so I'm
We're
gonna try
talking
this.
about mother's milk. No.
Brian, what are you thinking about this?
Haven't even tried it yet.
This is a beer that I specifically brought because I've never handed a beer to so many wine people that they've liked as much as this beer. And this is exactly, well, I don't want to say exactly, but this is slightly off the path of the American craft beer that we were sort of going for. Uh-oh, funny face.
No flipping way.
What? You don't like it at all?
I'm tasting grape ape.
Raisins,
Yeah, figs, raisins, something like
raisins,
that. Yeah.
plums,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
tasting grape ape here. I'm
Roquefort cheese.
no,
I don't get that. I don't get that.
I think
no,
it's
not
just
at
the name
all.
that does it for
I'm
me, but-
getting grape ape here. I'm getting something that.
Elmo hops.
Oh my God! Can I see the bottle, please?
Of course.
Trappist.
Trappist.
No, it says Trappist Roquefort. I got to tell you, you are a big thumbs down for me, baby.
It's a love or to hate it.
I got to tell you, well, maybe my second taste is better, but yeah, no.
He's not
off,
getting trapped by that
off
one.
the top of my head, is this in the top 100 list?
Yes, it is.
Top 50?
Probably.
I'm guessing top 25.
Okay.
Maybe the 10. Not sure. The 12, definitely.
This is like drinking a mix between. Nah, I can't even describe it. I mean,
See, I like this.
okay, you like,
like
this?
this,
Do you
yeah.
like this?
It depends on my mood. But this is not something I'm going to have after I've, mowed the lawn. That's for sure.
No, absolutely
Yeah, I
not.
mean,
Absolutely not.
And but isn't beer shouldn't beer be after you mow the lawn?
There we go. There's the difference. A lot of different ways you can enjoy it. I mean, you can do your sipping. You can sit here and have that much of it. Or you can have 4 or 5 of the session beers like we were talking about before after you mowed your lawn.
I don't even know what I would eat with this, though.
I
Because
would-
most of the time I sit and I can figure out what I would eat with
Yeah.
something.
I would pair
I would
cheese
say-
with it, but I mean,
I wouldn't.
I
Put,
was
I
thinking
wouldn't even put
dessert.
cheese with this.
I was thinking desserts, but I
Sure.
mean, that's kind of it
a
for me.
caramel kind of
Yeah.
flavors definitely
Yeah.
would echo it. Yeah, absolutely. But it's definitely one of those like old world style beers.
Clearly love it.
The Trappist style literally is made by the guys who
let
sing
me
that
finish
on
it
the
'cause I want
weekend.
to try. I got to tell you, ladies and gents, it's got a very unique taste. Okay,
That's for sure.
Okay, so I'm going to give it the unique taste.
Yep.
That's on it. I'm getting this flavor that I would not feed to my daughter.
Where is this brewed?
This is a Trappist brewery, one of the 7, I believe, still out there.
Okay.
What's the aftertaste?
Heaven.
Or hell.
It's definitely love it or hate it for sure, and we've got both here tonight.
So there's a little logo on the side here that shows authentic Trappist.
Those are the monks, right?
Yep, exactly.
So they have my monk thing?
Yeah, something just like that.
Okay.
To be considered still a Trappist beer, it has to be brewed at a monastery by monks, not for profit. They only brew enough every year to sustain the function of the brewery. Off the top of my head, I think there's 7 still out there. This is one of the few that still exists. There are a lot that do this style, and they can't call them Trappist style. It's against the law, but they can call themselves Belgian style.
But they don't even call them Trappist on the bottle. They call them Trappists. Trappist is Trappist.
And
then they added an ES to the process.
They speak 3 different languages there, and I never took any of them, so they can say it
so
however they want.
So they speak that Trappist stuff.
But most of them make 2, 3, or 4 different styles of beer. This is at Rochefort. This is their, I think, the biggest one they do for mass production, or at least for nationwide release.
This
They do a 6, an 8, and a 10.
And there is a 12, but that's
brewery
a
only
limited edition. It's a very old world style. I mean,
it just doesn't do a lot for me, and maybe that's I don't know what it is. I mean,
Well, how's this? Of the 4 that you've had so far, which was your favorite?
well, none of them are my favorite. I got to tell you right off the bat. But I got to tell you, the Trappist was the most interesting. I mean,
by far.
If I had to define that, and I'd go through the flavor profile, that was definitely the most interesting. After that, I got to tell you, it's a Clementine, the Clown Shoot Clementine.
Mm-hmm.
That gave me more flavor profiles, because when I
And from what it sounds
I'm not going
like,
to down a
the rest
beer.
falls off a cliff as far as you're concerned.
Say that again.
As far as you're concerned, the rest just basically fell off a cliff.
The Noble Rot throwaway, and I got to tell the UFO that I got to tell you, I can find Budweiser or whatever for that price.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not seeing anything that's blown my smoke right now. The Trappist was a different profile that gave me something completely different. The Clown Shoes was I don't know.
And now for something completely
Holy
different.
crap! It's black.
Do we want to table this because it's almost you're gonna want to
you
sign
got to
off.
do the rooster thing
Well,
because you got to pay bills.
We could.
Well, why don't you do that, because then we can.
Because we still have 4 more to do, right?
Yeah.
We can do as much as you want. I really want to get this one in and maybe one more, but we can do the other couple.
We've got at least another 45 minutes.
Yeah, so do
you guys
the
are
rooster.
You guys are going to stay with me.
Oh,
and
do a rooster?
Yeah.
Do the rooster, because our guest host over here, Brian Lee, says we got to do the rooster, because I think we're going to be guest hosts on Brian's show next.
Yep, why not?
That would be the case. You're listening to On the Horn.
Gotta love the rooster.
You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We are brought to you by Gateway Financial, Sandits Travel, Sherpa Technologies, Budwitz and Meyer Jack, Deepwater Seafood of Avon, and CentralCTDental.com. We'll be back in just 2 minutes, maybe 5, and we'll continue on with the fun that is Black Eyed and Blues, and it's a combo thing. I guess we're going with that, folks. We'll be talking to you shortly.